Hi, this is Banger from epgstream.net. Now, in this tutorial I'll be going through Windows Media Center's TV Guide categories. Now, a TV Guide category is basically just a filter you can apply to your TV Guide so that you can see your favorite sporting shows or even television genres. Now, if I go and have a look at Guide, and you'll notice on the far left hand side there's a categories panel. Now, by default, Windows Media Center doesn't set up your categories for you. It's really something you have to do yourself. So to do that, we can use Guide Service Proxy. Now, I'll just move this out of the way. And the first thing we need to do is click on Start, All Programs, epgstream.net, and Guide Service Proxy, and Guide Service Proxy Settings. Now, once your Guide Service Proxy settings screen loads, we'll be heading to the Categories tab. And within this tab, we'll be able to allocate what TV program categories we want to appear in our Media Center categories. And to do that, we basically click on the Read Default Categories from your XML TV source. Now, clicking that will look at your XML TV file and load all the categories that it can find. So we can see here we've got quite a good selection. And what we'll do is we'll allocate, say, movies by dragging and dropping, movies to movies, and movie to movies. And for sport, anything that has a sports category, I want it to appear in the sports category within Media Center. And that includes, what have we got? Tour car racing, rally car racing, and motorsports, and say football. For news, I'll do something similar, and anything that we download that is deemed as news, I want it to appear in this category. News and business, and say current affairs. Now, these categories, movie, sports, news, and children, will appear within your TV Guide here on the left in categories. Now, with this last one, I'm actually going to rename it. So I don't really want a children filter or category within Windows Media Center. So I'm going to rename it to say fantasy, as in fantasy program and sci-fi and those type of programs. And if I just scroll across and I'll look for science fiction, drag it into fantasy. For the moment, just ignore the little picture of the baby. That doesn't actually show up within Media Center. So science fiction, sci-fi and fantasy, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to put war in there, and fantasy. Okay, so what I've done, just in summary, is I've taken a list of categories that have been found within our downloaded program guide data, and I've sort of mapped them by dragging them into the Media Center categories I want to display here. So we've got movies, sports, news, and I've renamed the children category to be fantasy. So what we do now is we save, and we'll have to restart our Guide Service Proxy for this to take effect. So we'll just give that a few seconds, and once it's finished restarting, and it's restarted. Once it's finished restarting, we'll just run our Get Latest Guide listing just to show us what our categories look like. So to do that, we'll head back to Windows Media Center and down to Tasks, Settings, TV, Guide, and Get Latest Guide Listings. Now that it's finished downloading, we can head back to our main menu again and have a look at our new categories. So over to Guide, off to the left to Categories, press OK, and we can see our 4 categories: movies, sports, fantasy, and news. If I just go back to our guide service proxy, you'll see movies, sports, fantasy, and news. Now, remember, say within the news category here, we've assigned anything with news, news and business, or current affairs as its program category will appear within Windows Media Center under the news category or filter. And when we select this filter, you should see only those type of programs being displayed, and anything that's not is blanked out. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of news during the day. So let's go back to our categories and choose another filter, say sports. And you can see it's only found 1 for this particular time slot. Or even, let's have a look at fantasy. So for some strange reason, it's listed MASH as fantasy, but that is because if we have a look at my fantasy definition here, I've said that science fiction, sci-fi and fantasy, war and fantasy all have to be grouped under this Media Center Fantasy category. So obviously MASH falls under the war category. Okay, and then to clear your filter that we've got here, just go back to categories again and just click the very top heading here, which is the Guide Service Proxy heading, and you'll see that we've got the list of all our channels back again. And that's pretty much it. So for more detailed categories, all you need to do is select the additional categories that you need and drop them into, if I can just get up the top here, drop them into the category to make it more specific. So here I've just made golf included within the sports category, and so on. Then you can also create additional categories which don't appear within the main guide, but you can search for under user-defined categories. So here I might even put children, and anything that is deemed as children or children's group will basically appear in this category as well. So that's it. Have fun. Now, don't forget, if you're still having problems, you can visit us at http://forum.epgstream.net.
Station wagon cruising on the south of 16th. Tapping on my brakes to the sound of my beats. I got the red lights blinking to the sound of the heat. Ain't no sampling, the jinx don't cheat. I'm feeling kinda charged, got a positive flow of cash. Can't tell my mood by the sound of this rap, so quit acting tight. Take a notch out your cap, take a roll of 5s and put